Space laser noises.
Space tourism. And then we'll talk about it.
This is a metabolism killer.
This
Is a metabolism killer. And even this
Go to
is
the
a
shred.
Much more to get to on Thursday morning, including
our
the countdown to
headphones.
today's historic launch by Virgin Galactic. Its Unity ship set to blast into space for the first time with an all-civilian crew. NBC's Gotti Schwartz has been talking to that crew. He joins us from the spaceport in the New Mexican desert. Gotti, what's this big day looking like for the all-civilian crew?
Hey, Craig, it is definitely going to be the ride of their lives. The Unity spacecraft is going to take off from right here at the spaceport. It's going to be released from its mothership. Then it's going to go straight into the sky, hitting more than 2,300 miles an hour. And passengers are going to be feeling those 3Gs as they break the sound barrier, climb in Mach 1, Mach 2, Mach 3. Then the spaceship will invert. It'll hover for about 3 glorious minutes where the crew will be able to unbuckle, float in zero gravity. The total flight time is about 90 minutes on board. There's going to be a mother, a daughter who actually won their seat for free. The third passenger is an 80-year-old former Olympian who is battling Parkinson's disease. And we should also mention that one of the co-pilots is a woman as well. So this will be the most women to ever fly into space together in history. And as for those three civilians, they've been undergoing 3 days of rigorous training, including lots of time in flight simulators, high-performance training planes. But yesterday was all about relaxation before their journey to the stars.
So isn't that crazy? It's like a fake company trying to like sell space tourism, but obviously they're gonna do the dumb thing that like people say like anti-gravity is not real because of the like that falling thing. That's all they're gonna do. They don't even mention a low Earth orbit or anything.
You know, it's obviously a plane that takes you up high.
Yeah, and then
that's what it is.
Yeah,
that's space tourism. Is to call it an overstatement would be an understatement.
What is happening? Doesn't that feel like an ad?
Yeah.
It had why it's called Virgin Galactic? Because it's Virgin Mobile. Virgin Mobile owns it. The big Virgin Mobile sign on the side of it. This is just an ad for Virgin Mobile's fucking space people.
I'm skeptical of the people who like this guy with Parkinson's and this mother-daughter couple, like they just won the seats on there. I don't know about that. It kind of seems like to me like when you see a commercial.
Let's see if I'm right and if it's actually like they're going into low Earth orbit or if they're just like simulating space. So I
think if they were going into orbit, they would have specified that.
He didn't say we were going into low Earth orbit. That's what I was expecting him to say. He never said it.
He never said it. Yeah, you expect him to say it.
Virgin Galactic Unity. Suborbital. Maybe it is. Maybe they do.
Suborbital. What does that mean?
What does that mean? Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like orbital. And this is, you got to remember, like, do you.
Look at this.
What?
On the 7th of June, 2021, Jeff Bezos announced that he planned to be on the first crewed flight of his company, Blue Origin, which meant being aboard the first crewed flight to space, suborbital of a private enterprise fully funded by private money with two possible different record firsts, depending on whether one uses the international limit of space with 100 kilometers altitude or the USA 50-mile altitude limit. In case of using the Kármán line as the boundary of space passengers on board, or in case of using the USAAF NASA 50-mile altitude limit for space, more than one passenger, i.e. non-pilot, aboard. No idea. I'm too stoned for that.
See, it's
These
just
two different record firsts are due to the fact that these two record firsts are due to the fact that Spaceship One achieved the first crewed flight to space suborbital, crossing the 100-meter line. The Virgin Galactic achieved the first crewed flight to space, going past the 50-mile line. With money and one passenger aboard. So they do go to space for private people, but they're only going there for a couple minutes, and that news agency was doing old news. When did this come out?
what?
2023, and they've been doing this space tourism, the same fucking thing since 2021.
Yeah. And what they're calling space.
So just to be clear, it doesn't seem like Jeff Bezos had anything to do with this. It's just arbitrarily bringing up Jeff Bezos for some reason, and then mentioning that the Virgin Galactic achieved the first crewed flight to space with a 50-mile line, but it doesn't say like that they had anything to do with each other. But it's like, yeah, this is like a bunch of random dudes, British and American people. On the first time we're along. So we just went above 50 miles and we came back down. That's what they specialize in doing.
Yeah.
And they
That's
fucking
exactly what we just said.
yeah.
They take you up really high and then drop you down.
Yeah. But it's they actually bring you to a point where you have no gravity and you are literally there for 3 minutes and then you come back down. So it's like that. It doesn't go into low Earth.
Yeah, it's a parabolic maneuver.
Where you just barely get to touch all this shit.
This is nothing new.
No, and this is actually surprisingly fucking noobish and weak for what the governments in the 60s could pull off, you know? These companies bragging about this shit, it's like, you motherfuckers. Probably have fucking so much money getting split off into like private investors that are just like hedging their bets and investing in a company that's blowing up because it gets commercials on the fucking news, you know? It's all a fucking scam.
It's definitely a scam. If anybody actually thinks that they're gonna get to go to space on a Virgin Galactic flight in the next couple years, you're out of your mind.
Well, if you're rich, but hopefully, eventually, something like the submarine. Well, not hopefully, but in my opinion, I wouldn't doubt if something like the submarine thing happened, because that's exactly what that submarine company claimed to do, was to be like,
that's another thing.
The ocean.
If this was them, like this was like a real thing where they're taking civilians into space, well then. Yeah. I feel like there's like an informed consent issue here, because they're taking an old man with Parkinson's and a young girl into space. You know what I mean? Like if that was what that actually was, then there would, those people, you know, if it was what people think it is, there would be some real concerns.
Yeah, I think,
about that. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
true. Like, what the fuck? People in space.
Yeah.
But they probably signed away their rights to do that. That's
but why would you even let these people do that? A young girl and like an old man with Parkinson's. Like if it was going to be like a real like mission into space.
They don't give a shit. The dude's probably rich as fuck. He probably paid millions.
Well, the young girl and mother were supposedly they won for free. They won their spots for free. I don't know if I believe that, but that's what it said.
Watched?
Yeah, that's what it said.
Damn.
Yeah, they won their spots for free, supposedly. I feel like it's one of those like things where it's like when you see a commercial and the person is saying, "Oh yeah, I did this and it worked," but it's obviously sponsored. So you're like, "Really? Really though?"
What a ridiculous thing. But yeah, if they were really serious, they would be taking people into low Earth orbit, because that's like a space vacation. To be able to like go around the Earth once and then come back down, fucking. That would be all I wanted. That would be fucking. That would be like The bare minimum, though, because you could, like, they did that with turtles and dogs. This is just a scam. Okay, let's go to their website. Virgin Galactic announced its first fully crewed space flight. They look like Fantastic Four.
Oh man, they do.
Look at that. Look at that fucking. God, it's
Why
so
does this guy look like
gimmicky.
John McAfee?
Right?
Doesn't he? Is that John
I
McAfee?
think that's the CEO. That's the same guy in the other photo we saw. Not in this, but in the last photo we saw. Right. I'll go back to that. But go up here. Yeah, Richard Branson.
Richard Branson.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like John McAfee in a way.
Kind of does.
Doesn't he?
Like a dickhead space billionaire. But he probably doesn't have that much money. It's probably like, well, he probably has a lot of money, but from duping people with his like plane. Yeah, we'll just press this. Okay, let's go back to the website. The Unity 22 mission will be the 22nd flight test for VSS Unity and the company's 4th crewed space flight. It will also be the first to carry out a full crew of 2 pilots and 4 mission specialists in the cabin, including the company's founder, Sir Richard Branson. Sir Richard Branson.
Whoa,
this motherfucker got
man.
himself knighted or claims to be knighted.
That's the worst.
Let's look this guy up. Let's look up this piece of shit.
Now, I don't know anything about this guy, actually. I know the name, obviously, but
I've never heard of this guy before
Yeah.
in my life.
I didn't even know what he looked like. I thought that was John McAfee.
They correct you to Richard Branson. Let's check this guy
When you
out.
type in Sir Richard Branson, they're like, you mean just Richard Branson,
you mean
right?
Sir Richard Charles. Let's see.
Sir Richard Charles Nicholas Branson. Jeez.
Oh, he's the fucking CEO of fucking Virgin Mobile.
Yeah.
Look at this. He founded the Virgin Group.
Yeah.
So this is like a fun thing for him. This is like his hobby. Is this dumb space thing? Okay, let's. Wow. If you saw all these things, you wouldn't assume that they were all connected, right? Virgin Megastores, Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Records, Virgin Rail Group, Virgin Trains.
Yeah.
See when he got knighted.
That's funny. Oh, shit.
Branson has dyslexia, had poor academic performance. On his last day of school, his headmaster, Robert Dreisen, told him he would either end up in prison or become a millionaire. Branson has also talked openly about having ADHD. Branson's parents were supportive of his endeavors at an early age. Wow.
I just think that's funny. That's a funny thing to be told by your teacher.
Yeah. If that's true, he probably made it up. This is from an interview, obviously.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, probably. Most likely.
Cool. That's a dub. That's a dub for him. That's a dub for Richard Branson. Yeah. Helped find missing kids or whatever. If that's real.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a good thing.
It's funny that you could just be like this rich and then like look at all the stuff he got. Oh, okay. In 1992, he received the Golden Plate Award for the American Academy of Achievement. In 1993, he was awarded an honorary degree of Doctor of Technology at the Loughborough University. An honorary degree, that's great. In the New Year's honors list dated 30th December 1999, Elizabeth II signified her intention to confer the honor of Knight Bachelor on him for his services to entrepreneurship. Huh. Signified her intention. Oh, he was knighted by Charles, Prince of Wales on 30th March 2000 in an investiture at Buckingham Palace.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he became a knight for being rich.
Yeah. What does that even mean anymore anyway? You know, like, to be a knight.
He was briefly jailed in 1971 for tax evasion. That's cool. Damn, he is a billionaire.
I would assume, yeah.
You know, so he's fucking... He's obviously like the scummiest of people. Only the scummiest of people get that rich. Fucking...
Yeah.
This whole thing is probably a fucking sham.
Yeah, Batman doesn't
it's a
exist.
sham along with SpaceX, Blue Origin, and any other private space thing because they don't actually care about going to space. They care about profits. They're not paying scientists. They're paying like advertisers. You know, it's a whole different fucking thing. It's not. It's a private fucking profit thing. You know, you don't actually like when NASA does its thing. The money doesn't disappear. It can be wasted on bullshit, but it doesn't disappear. You know.
And
like,
what do you mean by that, really?
Like, if a company is like Blue Origin is like a thing you can invest in, and you buy parts of it, you expect it to profit, and investing every single dime of the company back into actually like going like above and beyond the expectation is not profitable. These companies profit from exaggerating how capable they are and then just like paying people for, charging people for like the fucking, the cheapest way possible, charging people to do a simulated experience version of this, you know, as opposed to like an actual like nationwide effort to do a particular task. They're a private company that expects profit, and the best way to profit is like to sell the space tourism, not to make spaceships. So they make a plane and they fly really high up and they say, we brought you on a space adventure. But it's not like it's like out of a company like that's reach to do that if profit incentives didn't matter, but it wouldn't really make sense because nobody would invest in something like that. That's why capitalism sucks. The end. And that's why we shouldn't give our money, our state money, to private companies like we have with our NASA budget. We're going to cut it down and give it all to SpaceX and Blue Origin. They're taking over the moon project and like everything else. And NASA is going to get severely cut down, and all that tax money is going to go to these private companies to do the same shit. Except, you know, it's just going to go to their fucking, it's going to go into being funny money. It's not going to actually go towards the project at all.
Yeah, I think they're all a bunch of scammers.
I don't think government's a scammer
I
necessarily.
think they're scammers too.
How do you think we got roads?
How do you think we got roads?
Yeah, let's start there with the
That
basic
is a
argument.
great argument.
We're gonna start at the beginning.
You shut down my entire train of thought, my entire fucking
Your whole theology.
my whole theology is fucked.
because it's a religious doctrine.
You know, I think I like the government now.
Yeah,
because roads exist.
Yeah, well,
holy shit!
You
dude.
should at least appreciate that taxes go somewhere, since the roads exist. You know,
that is amazing.
Isn't that cool?
Never thought of that before.
When you pay taxes, it goes somewhere. Sure, it could be squandered on dumb shit that you don't like and that you don't think it should go towards, but it goes somewhere. You know, as opposed to a private company where the money is like, it's dumb. Money gets really dumb with private companies because they don't care about like products. They care about like sucking life out of the fucking company until it's like a husk, and then they move on to the next thing. You know, like there's not going to be a single progress into space once we hand off all of that fucking shit to a different company, to a different like organization, because NASA isn't a company. It's a government organization, and some people might be getting paid, but they're not getting overpaid to the point where CEOs are getting overpaid, and they don't have any type of, there's actual laws that require companies to seek profits for shareholders, or you can be jailed. Like, it's like wild, but there's nothing like that for government organizations. So the difference in pay is going to be a lot different, and you're not going to have it like this guy's a fucking billionaire. He could afford something more than a 30-second flight. And I could only imagine what he charges people. Because the people he's charging aren't people like us. He's charging millionaires and like movie stars and people like that. He wants them to see this and be like, okay, I'll do this, and, you know, pay fucking $500,000 to take a flight that maybe costs fucking $50,000. You just marketed it so well that you've made a whole bunch of money, and fucking it can feed into itself, and you don't actually have to do the thing. You know, nobody's holding you to do the thing, and as long as you word it carefully, you don't even have to say you're doing the thing. You know, he's looking them in the eyes and saying, this is a space adventure. I'm bringing you way up in the sky, and you're going to barely touch where gravity gets all funny for 3 minutes, and then you're going to fall back down, and that's the adventure. Like, that's not going to space. But if you market it well, then that's going to space to people.
Yeah.
You know? This isn't space tourism.
There isn't
space tourism is supposed to be going somewhere. At the very least, taking a trip. So I expect something something orbital, like something in space, you know. But you say something like it, fucking influenced by nonfiction books. Of course he is, because he's a liar.
Well, that's all space shit is influenced by books.
Yeah, I'm just playing. He's just a shitty billionaire. Look at him. He looks like someone who'd demand that you call him a knight.
I just can't get over the fact that he just really looks like John McAfee to me.
Yeah.
And that guy is obviously a fucking, if you know anything about him.
Yeah, he's wild. Let's see how much this is supposed to be. Oh, wow. Let's check out their YouTube. But it reminds me so much of the fucking the submarine thing. Like, this is exactly how all their fucking advertising looked, and then fucking boom, smash.
Yeah. Well, and
like, because there's no actual incentive to make it safe, you know, make it as cheap as possible.
And, like, I'll never get over when Elon Musk straight up said, yeah, you know, some people are going to die in the effort to go to Mars.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to take. And I'm like,
They're all
motherfucker,
monsters.
you go then.
Yeah.
What? You're just going to send other people knowing that they're probably going to die? Fuck you.
See, watch the Galactic O2 space flight. So let's compare this, like, private affair to the shit we watched during the debate. Like, this is probably fucking so whack. Going, like, it's probably just a flight up into the air, and then they're fucking right back down.
History makers. They're not only achieving their own dreams,
Okay.
but they're also inspiring the entire
Let's
world.
hear listen a little
On
bit
board,
of
we
this.
have the first Olympian to go to space, the first astronauts from Antigua and Barbuda, the first mother-daughter
it in, and they're preparing themselves as we get closer and closer to that.
people have traveled to space. And not only that, but the rich diversity of humankind is still really, truly. Virgin's founder, Sir Richard Branson. And we're going to go live to Antigua, where our very own astronaut 006 a little bit later. Now, we know that
I've been waiting a quarter of my life on this earth to go into space. I'm 80 now. The fact that I'm
Once I know she was in the University of Harvard being in space, I've just
Sarisha. So at this point, the pilots are ensuring that the spaceship is in its launch configuration.
So much live content here, right?
That time estimate's pretty accurate at this point. Well, we went and adjusted it, so we're about 3.5 minutes out right now.
Spaceship.
And we're currently conducting our.
It's obviously a plane. It's an airplane.
Series of checks that we accomplish at designated points on our.
Altitude 44. We have to look up this height. 44,500. Can planes fly? Just to make sure this is just normal. This is just a normal thing. So, yes and no. Oh, no, that's a different answer. Oh, ChatGPT. I don't think we should listen to ChatGPT. I don't know how much I trust their its judgment. But we don't have an AI segment, so let's just listen to ChatGPT. Yes, commercial aircraft can fly at altitudes of up to 4,500 feet with passengers. 45,000 feet, sorry. With passengers on board. This is the typical cruising altitude for many commercial airliners. So, okay, they're almost at the typical cruising altitude for an airliner.
This is also in Spaceship Unity, where
by being at 44,500.
by opening the backup oxidizer valve. Once these actions are complete,
Spaceship.
pilots will seek clearance for release from the MCC. That's shorthand for the Mission Control Center. The MCC team consists of experts across various departments and disciplines within the company, and they're verifying. Yes, so we are go.
it's incredible. They're all, I know, it's and just.
Now set, there is max Q. That's the point of maximum pressure exerted on the vehicle by the atmosphere.
Oh, cool.
Those on board are experiencing about
Let's see how high they get.
Gs right now.
Oh, it is. Oh, it's got thrusters on it. Okay, let's see.
That's incredible.
Let's see how high it gets. And then we'll look this up. We'll see how high they actually get, because they might.
We're in the vertical, headed towards space.
It might get pretty high. We don't know.
An incredible.
See how high they get.
So we've got about Mach 2.8, Mach 3 approximately, and rocket motor cut off.
Seeing that they're going to
Amazing.
space.
The crowds here are just absolutely going wild. I can't imagine what's happening in Antigua with them cheering them on. Incredible.
Awesome.
Go Keisha, go Anna.
Rocket
go John.
motor
So
cut
everybody
off.
on board has been cleared to unstrap
Okay,
and enjoy that
okay,
zero
let's
G
see how high they
experience.
get.
The pilots have unlocked.
See how high they
the
get?
feather. That's the
We need to see
preparation so
this.
that They can raise the feather here momentarily.
Okay, they're getting off.
Engaging the RCS as well. The feather is now starting to move on its way up. Everyone's up out of their seats. Just
It's incredible.
enjoying
They're
the
all, I
experience.
know, it's amazing. They're all going to the window and taking in this just absolutely incredible view of Earth, the planet where all of their experiences are held. Everything they've ever known is
That's wonderful.
down below.
The feather is all the way up. We have a predicted apogee of about 289,000 feet.
That
Oh, they're
is
floating.
amazing. Our crew looks like they're having an absolutely incredible time.
They got pretty
and
high.
They are officially
We'll still look it up
astronauts.
and see
Welcome
how
to
high
space.
that actually is.
Congratulations
I don't know.
to John.
It looks like they're.
Patricia,
It looks
to
like they're
Anna on
floating in the
becoming
air.
astronauts today.
But that's not even how orbits are supposed to work. It's not you just go up so high that you start floating.
but
It's a parabolic maneuver that causes that.
That's right. So that's probably why.
So
it's
that's what
only
they're
3
doing.
minutes. They're just like going up and then falling back
Yeah.
down. You know.
It's the movement that's doing that.
But
It's
I
not
want to
just
see
'cause they're
how
so
high it is, because this is probably just a normal fucking thing. Like jets can probably do
Yeah,
this. They just aren't
I bet
supposed
military jets go this high.
You know, it's
We'll
hard for
see.
us to describe. We can obviously see they're
It
having
looks
Well,
like
maybe
they're-
not this high.
Yeah, it looks like a jet would probably just. But I don't know. Maybe they tell you just not to go that high because it's
Could
dangerous.
be, yeah. Okay, it's definitely leveling out. It's going
Okay,
down now.
okay.
So it's leveled out at like
290.
290,400.
Okay.
Around that.
We'll look up. A plane definitely can't do that. So we'll
Yeah,
look
we
up
know.
jets. Okay, we looked up. Can any jets go 290,000 feet? I feel like we could safely say they actually got it there, though. No, it's 29,000. It's not very high.
No, they're even like, is this not considered low altitude? This is a completely different conversation.
Yeah, this is like,
This is not at
this is
all.
like the
what we're talking
opposite.
about. Yeah, it's like the exact. Yeah.
any
Ask how high military jets can go. That's what I would ask.
17 kilometers.
Because they're obviously not talking about the most high-tech
Yeah.
military jets. They're talking about like your
Yeah.
standard jet. I want to know how high is the
Okay,
most
let's
advanced
look up,
jet going to go?
How high is 300,000 feet? Maybe this will give us some clues.
That's kind of a weird question. How high is 300,000 feet? 300,000 feet.
Okay, the Kármán line. So this is what we saw in the other thing. So this is one of the definitions for the edge of space. So they didn't go quite this high.
They almost did.
Yeah.
Well,
They're
like 10,000 feet.
It says 330,000 feet. So they were 40,000 feet away from the Kármán line. So they still didn't go into space as far as I'm concerned.
No, they didn't.
Well, how high is 50 miles? That's another definition of the edge of space. The expressions of edge of space or near space are often used by... They didn't say who by. Oh, used, okay, to refer to a region below the boundary of outer space, which is often meant to include substantially lower regions as well. As certain balloons or airplanes might be described as reaching the edge of space, and such statements, reaching the edge of space, merely refers to going higher than average. Oh, here's a little thing. Okay. A weather balloon stratosphere, 50 meters, 50 kilometers. So this is all kilometers. So the Kármán line is 100,000 kilometers. So it's about a quarter of the way to the ISS. I don't think that's that great, right? They almost got a quarter of the way to the ISS.
Yeah. It's not very impressive. I'm not impressed.
I'm not impressed by that. That's not space as far as I'm concerned. That is not space. The ISS, I wouldn't even say that's in space. That's just in orbit. That's what I consider that, just like, and the exosphere is outside. So the 690 line. It's where that it tops out at 10,000. Why don't they just say, and then that's the exosphere. But yeah, 690. So they were very, 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 very far from space. But further than a meteor shower, they got past like meteors, whatever that means.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
That's where you'll like see
Well,
them.
if something's falling to the ground, where do you measure where?
Well, maybe that's where the most meteors like occur before they're burned up in the atmosphere. Like that's like the furthest they usually get. So that's where you like see the most. I think the Aurora is a better thing, or a quarter of the weight of it, because it's only 100 kilometers to the Kármán line, and it's 400 kilometers to the ISS. That's a big fucking gap. That is a huge fucking gap. This chart doesn't really appropriate.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It look everything.
Yeah.
The scale is way off
Yeah.
on this fucking chart.
It's pretty high though, Mount Everest, but Mount Everest, I guess, probably isn't high in plain terms. In plain terms. Yeah, that's kind of funny, right? Give me the bomb. There's a bowl left here.
It's the silence. It's the views.
Yeah, so ultimately,
our brilliant planet against the matte black of space.
still think it's a ripoff. Let's watch them float around for a second now.
I mean, I can't imagine what they're going through.
It's part of our show. We watch people float around.
Yeah, well, we just achieved our apogee at 290,000 feet. That's
It's only going to be 3 minutes.
3.5 kilometers.
Amazing. And apogee is actually a very unique part.
See, what they're going through right now is pretty similar to what people go through every time they do a parabolic maneuver in a plane like this. Like it's not that special.
It's just take a moment in the cabin.
Yeah.
Silent.
Yeah,
That's what they're doing right now.
I'm
is they're
sure they
just
send
falling.
jets up this high, not jets, but rockets up this high all the time. Like, I'm sure this is like the place they send rockets to, so it floats around for a second and then lands back down, you know? But they don't, like the ISS is like,
and orient us for the re-entry. They've just made the return to seat call. They do that before we get to about 0.1 Gs.
you can see the ISS.
Tell the passengers
You
when to
fucking-
return to their seats, and then it's something
You
that
can't say that you're that fucking far if you're a quarter of the way to that. Like, you're not in fucking space. Come
even
on.
though that you're in that reduced G environment.
Yeah, absolutely. During the
Yeah.
days up leading to
And
training.
they obviously never hit a zero gravity because they hit the top and then started falling. There was never a point where they just stayed the same, you know?
And even on
Yeah.
When they show it flipping, that's because it's falling.
Yeah.
So, like, all we're really watching right now is a thing falling thousands of feet.
Yeah.
So, like,
So when we talk about space travel, right, with the boost,
They're not in
everybody
space.
recognizes that as
They're just
exciting
falling.
and thrilling, but the reentry is actually
Yeah.
quite thrilling and
They're just
thrilling.
falling.
And we have shock waves
Yeah.
that form over the top of the vehicle. Right now they're experiencing the max.
You're in
G on
space when you go
about
skydiving.
3.5.
they're just basically skydiving inside of a plane.
Yeah, they're plane
Or inside
diving.
of the jet or rocket or whatever you want to call it, but it still isn't like, this isn't space capable, you know? They never once hit zero gravity. They fell from the fucking altitude that we saw, and we saw it. You know, anybody who wants to argue with us, fucking come to the comments section, argue with us. Tell us you like the show.
Because again, they're going to be able to see Space
Yeah.
America. They're going to be able to see their,
I fucking
see that
dare
their
you.
family and their friends are there cheering them
Challenge
on as they
you.
come
So
back and return
like
to
the
Space
video
America.
And
go in the
subscribe.
comments, say how much you love the show and how awesome we
And
are,
how you disagree with us.
and then share it on all your social medias.
Yeah.
A challenge.
Yeah.
Challenge it.
Spaceship dropping, and then once the feather is down and locked, which it's now moving.
Only a
the
coward
crew
wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
can make a
If you don't do that, you're a
I
bitch.
remember during the reentry, I just
Was that inappropriate?
No,
Okay.
I'm cool with that, yeah.
The landscape of New Mexico is just very indicative of this planet. It's beautiful, and it's really just amplifies going to space, looking down on just the beautiful planet you've just left.
And the feather is now down and locked.
That is the most hilarious sentence I have ever heard in my life. The landscape of New Mexico is just very indicative of this planet. What the fuck?
Down, and if you want to go slower,
See, it's because they never got that high up.
This is what they're saying, and she's like, "Oh wow,
It's
like a big brown marble."
The crew on board are on the leading edge of broadening space access and are taking the first steps. In
Oh
ways
man,
that
this is stupid. This is so dumb. This is really dumb.
two numbers.
See, they're already back in their seats and they're landing because it's a big glider, so it like
It's a flight.
flipped up in the sky and started falling.
At this point, it's like any other flight. They're
Yeah.
fucking, they're just landing a plane now.
So, at a designated airspeed, the pilots have the option to apply the
This
brakes
is not
or
a
not.
fucking. A whole 45-minute
Before
trip.
we were using
from beginning to
Monday.com,
end.
our team was drowning.
If you can even count it, it went to 43 minutes. It went to 43 minutes before it was already over. Oh my God.
It's stupid.
Unbelievable. Absolutely atrocious.
This is really nothing new. This is the same story we've heard since like at least the 80s. This whole like space tourism thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
This isn't.
It's exactly what the guy said. It's nonfiction. It's like the things he likes, which are like stories of people like doing space tourism.
This isn't like some huge leap forward towards sending you, the average person, or even your average millionaire into space.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is not.
Nobody in space. They never went into space.
This is,
I would argue to hell and back with someone who tried to say space was below the ISS to any extent, you know.
but they do that all the time in these, like, when they do these things. It's like the Red Bull jump. And the fucking dude went up in a fucking capsule and they're like, he's in space. And then he jumps and like skydives. It wasn't in space. It was just really high.
Really? They tried to lie and say he was
That was
in
back
space?
in like fucking 2015.
Oh my
2014 or some
God.
shit. Yeah. Felix Baumgartner. He was like some like stunt man. And it was like for Red Bull. It was all like a marketing thing. He's wearing like a Red Bull fucking jumpsuit and shit.
Yeah.
And they sent him up in a capsule that says Red Bull on it, I think. And then he he just like jumps out and skydives. And it was like, he was in space.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not in space. He's just really high up.
Yeah.
You're just up really high. A little higher than your average airplane.
Yeah.
I think it was lower than that, but still, like, so even that should give you a little perspective on, you think this is fucking stupid. They call that space, and I guarantee it was way lower than that shit.
No, it was probably nothing.
It was probably like 100,000, 120,000.
People. They're ripping people off. You know, it's exactly what I thought it was.